Well, welcome to Summer Observing 7, and this is a Last in the Summer of 2020 series, and this one's about prepping for the Perseid meteor shower. Yeah, you may have heard of this. This is one of the most popular and well-known of the meteor showers that occur throughout the year. So the tips we give you here will probably be good. The one advantage of the Perseid over any other is it occurs in August when it's warm. A lot of the other meteor showers are when it's cold. So this is your great chance to do it. So I'm Paul Adams, JPL Solar System Ambassador, and speaking for the FHU Makerspace Summer Programs and the FHSU Science Cafe. So let's go in. This is a rather short one because the biggest thing you can do is just go out and watch. So when you look up at a meteor shower, and I guess the one thing I want to be sure that you know is there's a comet meteor shower connection. And part of that is that what happens for a meteor shower, or anytime we see meteors, is that the Earth is moving in its orbit and it runs into debris. So we mentioned the last one, there's a lot of space junk. Sometimes you see that coming down, it's multicolored. It's not a remnant of the solar system. But we look at meteors, they're parts of the solar system that get into our orbit and we cross it. So many of the meteor showers that we look at are associated in one way or the other with a comet. And this particular one, as you can see with the Perseid meteor shower, is that we have the comet Swift-Tuttle, which comes through about every 133 years, and it flies around the sun and crosses over the Earth's orbit. But on the way, and that's what this little fuzzy area shows, it leaves debris. Some are little stones, some are ice crystals, so just a variety of things that it leaves behind every time it comes through. And so when it does, we just happen to cross in our orbit around the sun, is we happen to cross through basically the trail that's left when the comet comes through here. Now it does mean that it depletes over time, but then it gets recharged when the comet comes back and so on. So many of the meteor showers that you see out there are associated in some way with a past comet event, which means all along the Earth's orbit that you see here, there's all sorts of debris that we run into. Now, in a general sense, you run into meteors. We usually see a pickup of meteors every day about after midnight because the Earth then is facing in its orbit and you're starting to run into debris when at nighttime is the way that it rotates. But we want to look at just a meteor shower. So the one that we're looking at is is a Perseid meteor shower, which technically runs July 17th to August 23rd. And it just means that the debris left by the comet is spread out over time. And we start seeing a little uptick in the number of meteors that you might see through July 17th, but we get a big peak the 11th, 12th, and 13th. And it's not precisely defined because we don't have this debris trail well mapped out. But when we pass through our part of the orbit on these 3 days for 2020, we expect to see an uptick of meteors upward to 40 plus meteors an hour if you sit there and try to count them all. Now, on a night where there's no moon, you could see up to 100. But the moon does interfere with the observing this year, not to a great extent, but it means only the brightest ones will be seen. If there's no moon, you can see the dim ones as well. And every year, somebody will run this, so you'll begin to see a pickup in news feeds about this towards the beginning of August, so be ready for that. So what do you do to get out there? Well, you start looking late evening, and this is a picture that shows looking to the northeast at 11 p.m. And though we say you look to the northeast, you could just be laying down anywhere and look, and you'll see them because they'll be coming out. But one of the things that happens is it shows the radiant. Now, what's occurring is that happens to be where the Earth's atmosphere and its crossing with the orbit happens to be the geometric location of where the big debris trail is. And so what happens is the Earth is moving through this debris trail. Remember, that's really what we're doing, and we're running into these things, is that this is the part of the sky we could trace it back, and they all appear to radiate from here. And remember, it's really just an artifact of us moving through a debris trail. But if you watch enough of these and you follow them back with your mind or your eye, you'll say, oh, wow, they're all coming here from the constellation Perseus, which is near these. And these are actually the constellations here. We didn't introduce them for the summer because they're truly more visible at the autumn season, but remember, we're looking late at night and on, and the season, what you see changes all the time. So this is really it. You just go out and you look. Now, a few more tips to help you out, and we want to do that. And really, this is it. Find a dark area with an open sky. If there's light, bright lights are going to interfere with what you can see. And if you remember in the first of the series, we talked about citizen science and mapping the night sky. So maybe you could go on that map and look for the dark areas. But dark area, open sky, because you want to have as much as a horizon as you can. So people who live in the bright cities, sorry, you're not going to get to see a whole lot unless you go out into the country. At the minimum, plan to go out for an hour. And the reason we say that is that it takes about 20 minutes for your eyes to dark adapt. And it's also to realize that when we say there's 40 per hour, it doesn't mean you're going to get like a couple every minute. It varies. And in fact, what you'll find is that you may see 2 or 3 at once, and you may not see something for a couple minutes. So give yourself an hour, and you're likely to see some very nice things it shows here. Now, if you're really into photography, and though this isn't mentioned here, you can set your camera open for a time exposure and let it go. And if there are meteors that happen to be out during that 30-second exposure, you'll get something like this. Maybe not as good as a professional, but you'll get some nice meteor trails against the background stars. Now, as we said, dark area, open sky, plan an hour because your eyes need about 20 minutes to get dark, and get a reclining lawn chair or blanket for the ground. In the winter, and I know people who have gone out and do this, they will bundle up, really bundle up and lay on the ground, and they get very cold, but if there's some great meteor showers in the winter that you want to do that. And but you can get a lawn chair, have some blankets, have some drinks, snacks, whatever you want to do. Make it a party, have a lot of people, and in this day, socially distance. You can manage to do it very well. And then last thing is wait. And I say wait because you never know what you're going to see. You may get a strange, big, larger one that'll come through that could actually kind of explode or give you some different colors. I remember going out for the Leonid meteor shower back well over a decade ago, and it was such a spectacular shower, and it occurs in November, and we stayed up all night, but we had explosions and smoke trails. That's not going to happen with the Persids, but you never know what you can see. You may see these real long glowing things. So get out, take a look, and see it, and try some photography, try a lot of different things. And this slide then marks actually the end of our summer observing series. So you've had a grand tour of some of the major constellations out there. You've had a chance to see about planets and satellites. You know some of the legends. So when you look up at night, it's not just the stars you see. It's the stories. It's the culture. It's our history as a species on our planet, where we have written what we believe and what we see into the sky. So cap it off with your summer with a nice meteor shower, and then get out there and look. Remember, lots of apps out there, lots of things that you don't have to have somebody with you. You just take out your technology and you'll learn a lot. And the more you look, the better you are at recognizing it, until eventually you don't need the technology at all. So with that, we wish you well. Keep looking up and enjoy the stars and enjoy your summer.